Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to outline and walk you through a lesson plan and an approach to minor melody writing. The lesson itself is purposely built to be flexible and loose so that if a teacher wanted to take it in a different direction, they can easily do that. And lastly, just a disclaimer. While I'm using Soundtrap for a lot of the exercises that you're about to see, there is no reason why you couldn't do this in a traditional setting using simply a keyboard and teacher at the top of the room. The main objective in taking an approach like this is to tackle a big issue that a lot of my students have, namely not being able to hear the melodies that they write. And the second objective for taking this approach is to provide a framework on melody writing that is both hands-on and practical. In turn, I would hope that this creates engaging learning experiences for our students and also embeds the concepts that are covered in a deeper way. This is how the lesson plan works. Each student is given an exercise sheet on which there are 4 exercises. The exercises are scaffolded in a way that each one asks something different of the student's composing mind. This exercise sheet accompanies a Soundtrap project file in which all of the audio and MIDI files they'll need are embedded. A quick note to say that this will work in Audacity, Garageband, or any other DAW technology that you happen to have. In the first exercise, the students will have to identify which of the 3 loops in the Soundtrap project correspond to the given 4-bar melody they have on their exercise sheet. This is what the 3 loops sound like. Loop 1. Loop 2. And loop 3. So in this case, the correct answer is loop 1. In exercise 2, the students will have to transcribe the other 2 loops. Depending on your class set, you can do this as a dictation exercise, having the students transcribe the melodies by ear, or you can use it as a tool to teach students how to use MIDI notes in Soundtrap or in any DAW you want to use. If you want to access the MIDI notes in Soundtrap, click the instrument, click piano roll, and there you'll be able to see the MIDI information that's there. The MIDI blocks show how long a note lasts for, and also what keyboard note it corresponds to. After the students have transcribed the other 2 loops, there's now an opportunity to discuss some success criteria for what goes into writing an effective minor melody. There are some intentional errors in the remaining 2 phrases. A class discussion could lead your students to identify these problems. Having identified these issues, the students will now rewrite the melodies in an attempt to improve what was there. In exercise 3, we bring in the concept of minor harmony. Do note that this second page shouldn't be given to students until they've completed exercise 1, as to do so would give the answer to exercise 1. The students now have to harmonise the given 4-bar phrase. They must apply a chord bank for the given key, D minor in this case, and include the chord symbol or Roman numeral in the boxes above where it says on the melody. In the second part of this exercise, they are to write a bass part in the bass clef underneath the melody. And then finally, using a bass instrument in Soundtrap, They can transcribe their bass part from the stave into Soundtrap using the MIDI notes function again. Here's one that I've made to demonstrate. In exercise 4, we're looking at developing some of the skills required to answer question 6 on the composing paper, and even some elements of question 4. The students are now required to write an upper, descant or counter melody above the main melody that was given at the outset. Here's one that I've prepared in advance. It could be an option to show students this one and ask them to model it in their own way. I think this activity can help students understand the concept of framing melodic patterns within a chordal structure. After the students have composed their descant melody, there's an opportunity to tie in some material that happens on the set works, particularly the Beatles and Queen set works, where panning does occur. You could have students mess around with the pan function within Soundtrap to place their descant melody out of the way of the main melody, either to the right or the left of the stereo field, so that your ear hears it through the right hand speaker or the left hand speaker. A follow-up, exercise 5 and 6, could see students adding in their own drum pattern to accompany what they've already composed, and also the idea of a middle part that played some of the middle range keyboard notes on the piano. I'm now going to play the full arrangement I've composed for this exercise, which includes a drum beat and also Alberti bass style chords.